Why do teenagers say I'm fine when they're clearly not? When I was 17, I got really good at saying 2 words. I'm fine. I said it so often it became automatic, like breathing. My mom would ask how school was. I'm fine. My friends would ask if something was wrong. I'm fine. Even when my chest felt so tight it was hard to breathe, those were still the only words that came out. Every morning I'd stand in the bathroom getting ready for school, staring at my reflection under the bright white lights. My eyes always looked tired, sometimes puffy, sometimes red, but I'd practice a smile anyway, because once I walked out that door, no one was supposed to notice anything was wrong. School felt like walking into a storm every day. There were the quiet whispers when I passed people in the hallway. The group chats I slowly realized I wasn't part of anymore. The moment you walk into the cafeteria and suddenly, every table feels like it's already full. You start wondering what you did wrong, or if maybe something is just wrong with you. But when I got home, my parents would ask the same question every evening. How was your day? And the answer was always the same. I'm fine. Because explaining everything felt impossible. How do you explain the kind of loneliness that happens when you're surrounded by hundreds of people? How do you explain that? Sometimes you sit in class hearing everyone laugh around you and still feel completely invisible. One night I was sitting on the floor of my room trying to study for a history test. My phone kept lighting up beside me. Notifications from a group chat I used to be part of. I could see the messages popping up on the screen. Inside jokes, plans for the weekend, pictures of everyone hanging out without me. My throat started burning and suddenly I couldn't read the page anymore. I just sat there staring at the wall while tears kept falling onto my notebook. At some point my mom knocked on the door. She cracked it open just a little and asked softly, "Everything okay in here?" For a second I almost told her the truth. I almost told her how lonely school had started to feel, how exhausting it was pretending every single day, how I felt like I was disappearing right in front of people, but instead I wiped my face with my sleeve and said the words I always said. "Yeah, I'm fine. Just studying." She smiled and told me she was proud of how hard I was working. Then she closed the door, and the house went quiet again. The thing about saying I'm fine over and over is that eventually people start believing you, even when it's the farthest thing from the truth. Teenagers learn that lesson pretty quickly. Sometimes we hide our pain because we don't want to worry anyone. Sometimes because we think nobody will really understand. And sometimes because we've said I'm fine so many times, we forget how to say anything else. So if you ever hear a teenager say those 2 words, I'm fine, listen a little closer, because behind them might be a story they're still trying to find the courage to tell.